What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Astral Sorcery, and today we're going to be going over both the Celestial Altar and the Starlight Infuser. Now, because the Starlight Infuser requires the Celestial Altar to craft, it's pretty obvious we're going to be starting out by upgrading our Starlight Crafting Altar to the Celestial Altar, and this will give us a couple things. First off, it's going to give us a bunch of additional crafting spaces in the current grid, as we get every time we upgrade this, and that will allow us to craft a ton of new things. And we'll be able to see all those cool things since the Astral Tome will gain access to the next chapter that comes after attunement once we make this upgrade, and that'll contain all the cool stuff that we can do with the Celestial Altar. And of course, the first one that shows up in there is the Starlight Infuser. Now, the Starlight Infuser is going to allow us to infuse liquid starlight into items and weapons and tools, and the most important one that we're doing this for is upgrading Aquamarine into a resonating gem. Now, there's a lot of stuff to go over with the Starlight Infuser, but the main thing is that it's going to use the liquid starlight, not starlight from the sky, so you don't need it to be open to the nighttime sky, which is a crazy change of pace from pretty much every other multi-block we've set up so far, but everything else is pretty much the same with these multi-blocks. You make the main block, you set up an altar below it, and then it's going to function however it should. So, everything over here is what we need for today's episode. Obviously, we've got a fair bit of stuff to set up since we have two different multi-blocks, one of which is going to be really huge at least. And so on the left here, we have everything for the Celestial Altar, on the right for the Starlight Infuser, and I separated those into two groups, with the top being the crafting materials for the main block of the setup, and then the bottom being the altar that goes below it and what you need for that. Now, one thing I do want to make a quick note of before we start going over this and start setting everything up is that this stuff right down here for the Celestial Altar is everything you need if you are going from scratch. But obviously, you're not going to be going from scratch because you will already have the Starlight Crafting Altar set up. So chances are you can repurpose majority of the marble and sooty marble blocks you used for this to at least reduce the cost of setting up the next altar. But right here, I have everything starting from scratch just for video purposes so you guys can get a general idea of what it takes. So to actually craft the Celestial Altar itself, we're going to need 1 star metal ingot and 2 star dust. If you don't know how to get stardust, we've gone over it before, but all you do is toss down a star metal ingot and left click on it with a star metal cutting tool until it becomes dust. Then we need a crystal of whatever kind you want, celestial or rock. I would use the worst rock crystal you can get since everything else is going to be way more valuable than this. Then we need 4 chiseled marble, 2 aquamarine, and 2 marble pillars. And we should be good to actually craft the altar itself. Again, just making a quick note that when we craft it, it will simply upgrade the Starlight Crafting Altar block itself. It does not drop a new one, so make sure you're not going to be using any Starlight Crafting for the foreseeable future until you can set up the multi-block below it, as it will not function anymore once it's upgraded without its new altar. Now, for that new altar, we will need 49 sooty marble, 4 chiseled marble, 12 regular marble, 8 marble pillars, 4 rune marble, and 40 marble bricks. So all in all, not too bad, but for the Starlight Infuser, we will need 1 bucket of liquid starlight, 1 star metal ingot, 6 marble pillars, 3 rune marble, 2 aquamarine, and 4 gold. And then for the multi-block, we will be using a lapis lazuli block for the first time, 8 chiseled marble, 16 marble, 4 marble pillars, and 20 rune marble. So again, all the stuff you need is right in here. The only thing that's not actually needed to set these up, but will be needed to function, is you are going to need to start out 12 buckets of liquid starlight to run the Starlight Infuser, and they have a chance of being consumed as you run it. So definitely make sure you have a huge stockpile of those. Otherwise, you might be sitting around for a little bit waiting for it to generate. So you can see I've got some extra right here, and we'll be grabbing those, and we should have just enough. But we want to grab out all this stuff so we can start setting this up, because we are running out of nighttime and I'm rambling a little bit too much. So first things first, Celestial Altar. We got everything we need. Pop it in here. And this one's going to take a little bit of time, so definitely make sure you have at least a decent chunk of nighttime left. But we'll see once this finishes that the block in the center will get upgraded. So there we go. Now we have the Celestial Altar. It's an even bigger crafting grid. And so I think we got 2 additional ones in each corner, which is great. And you can see we unlocked the achievement and got the next section of the Astral Tome, and that is Constellation. So if we open this, there's a fair bit of stuff in here, but the main starting point is right over here at the Starlight Infusion. And if we go to this, we can see everything I just talked about with setting up the Starlight Infuser and the multi-block below it. But before we get to that, we can't use this yet. You can see it's red here. So as always, we need to tear down the current altar and set up the new one. So we're just going to rip this down right here, and we'll use the outline to set this up. Unfortunately, it's going to be slightly larger dimensions than this current one, which means I am going to have to tear down at least a couple things that I have placed around here so we have sufficient room. I did think this through when I started setting up the base, do not worry. I was warned that there were some seriously large multi-blocks in here, and I would need to be prepared for adjusting the size of my base if I put one in the center. Unfortunately, I do think it's not going to look as good, but hopefully we'll figure out a way to make it look at least slightly acceptable. Now, I just want to make a quick note too that a lot of you guys are probably commenting on the fact that this sooty marble is all going to be staying the same, and I could probably just leave it here, but for the sake of the video and starting out fresh, we're just going to tear it all down. So if you guys don't know, if you have a block that requires a multi-block below it and you have the resonating wand, if you right click on it, it will show you where all the new blocks need to be and even give you sort of an opaque version of those blocks so you can see. I always say this, I'm basically blind, I need glasses, and I'm definitely not wearing them right now while I'm playing video games, so I don't find these crazy useful other than to know the actual size of the altar. So we know that we need to tear down all these blocks right here that are red because it means there's something blocking the way, and then we can start setting this up. And then we'll just have to, like I said, adjust everything around these in an appropriate manner so it doesn't look totally awful. Thankfully, it's just the corners that seem to be coming out, so we can grab out all the stuff we need, and it looks like we're going to need a fair bit of sooty marble, some marble bricks, and I don't know what the other ones are really right now. But we can start with the sooty marble, which is going to be right in the center here. And we can just go all the way around, placing these down. The rest of them, I always say, the marble blocks are super hard to see the details to know exactly which marble one it is. So maybe you guys can see better than I can. But yeah, I mainly think that the outlines are useful just to know the general area to set it up in. So we've got that. Now I'm still going to open this up and go back so I can see this. So we'll just scroll out here, go up to attunement. And we can check out the setup over here. So yeah, it's marble bricks all the way around. And then, wow, that is super weird. So the corner ones are the regular marble then. And then the rest of them are going to be, okay. So I think these ones should be regular marble. And then the rest of these are going to be the marble brick going right around here. So we'll just have to remember that at all of the corners. So here's another 3. And then marble bricks. I guess we'll find out pretty quickly. Whoops. Oh, right. It would tell you if they were wrong, so it would make them red. Okay, well, that's one nice thing about it. It immediately alerts you when you screw up. I guess some people might not like that. But, okay, and then this one is the final... Whoops. Got a little bit too early with that. This one is the final corner. Right there. And more bricks. Okay, so now we have all those set up. We're on the next level, so we'll grab out our marble pillars, and these go, whoops, no, it's ruined marble, right, okay. We'll grab out the ruined marble, and those go right there. Apparently that guy just wants to rain on our parade, and now we have the marble pillars, okay. Like that, and we get to enjoy our creative flying that we get from what we set up last episode over there. Super helpful when crafting these super high things like this. And then this is the chiseled marble. There we go. Right on top. And this should finish it off, I believe. Yep, there we go. Great. So this is fully set up. And honestly, it doesn't even look that bad. We could probably leave it like this. Okay, guy who always shows up here. You know what? You're going to die on camera today. I usually cut this off camera. But you know what? This guy decides he wants to interrupt every video, and I kill him, and these llamas spit at me because they are super rude. So we'll just dump all this stuff in here. Okay, well, there we go. Well, if you guys don't know too, llamas actually spit in real life. A lot of people hate llamas because they spit in real life, so super annoying. But now we have the Celestial Altar good to go, so we can make the Starlight Infuser. Everything can go in here. We just need to make it nighttime, so we can go to our trusty hammock over here, and we will switch it over, and then we can get on to setting up the second multi-block in today's episode. Got a lot of stuff to do, So we'll just wait for it to finish setting over there. And we should be able to see that this doesn't actually require too much starlight in here, so it shouldn't take too long before we're able to set it up. And I think we're going to be putting it right over here. Now I want to keep an area open because we do want to use a collector crystal to empower the current ritual. So we're going to want that to be maybe on this, well no, we may be on this side, so maybe we'll put it over here. Mainly because it does not actually need access to the sky, which is again super nice. But it looks like we're getting there. We should be good to start this soon. And then once we set that up, we can convert at least a few of our aquamarine to resonating gems, just so we can watch the process happen, and maybe you guys will get to see it consume one of the buckets of liquid starlight. So we should have plenty now. We can let it start going. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. Are these new? I guess this is maybe a new effect for this altar, but I don't recall these purple particles being here on other crafts. Ooh, very cool. I feel like that's new. I don't know. Maybe I just don't pay any attention, but I definitely think that's new. Now, I do want to at least put down something over here to get rid of this water. So we'll put this down, and then I'm pretty sure we need that back. So there we go. But we'll be setting it up over here, and I'm just going to line it up right over with the ritual pedestal. So we'll probably put it maybe like right here. But I do want to quickly open up the Astral Tome just to see what is the base block for it. So, oh my gosh, and it looks like we're probably about to get attacked. Okay. Well, now we can go back in here. So in constellations, it would appear that for the multi-block, the one that goes directly below it is going to be the lapis lazuli block. Probably could have guessed since that is the only individual block in here. So we'll put that right here. And we can throw down the Starlight Infuser on top of it. And apparently we're being joined by a ton of different guys today. I need to light it up better around here. My goodness. And now we can click on this with the resonating wand and get this stuff too. Now, these go down because you need to put a little trench almost in here for the starlight, which is why this one goes a little bit deeper than the other ones did. So we'll dig out this area and put these down. Now, I believe these are going to be regular marble. Yep. So these will just be regular marble blocks in here. And these will be the 4 sides that we have the 3 different spots on. Now we got the rune marble. And I believe this one is the chiseled marble right here. So we'll put the chiseled marble in the corners. And then a ton of rune marble around it. Just like that. I honestly don't like how rune marble looks. I don't know why. I just feel like it's pretty harsh with the dark color on it. But, oh well. Now we got the marble pillars on the sides. And we got the chiseled marble on top of them. And there we go. So now we have the Starlight Infuser set up, and if we right click on it, we can put whatever block we want to use in there. So for us, starting out, it would be aquamarine, and then you'll simply right click with a resonating wand to get it to start. So if we were to come over here and grab out one aquamarine, we can put it in here. And if we were to right click, nothing will happen. Well, that's because we don't have any starlight in here. We need the liquid starlight to fill up these troughs on the side. So the 12 blocks over here, we put these in, and we're going to have to go fill up the remaining buckets back over at our light wells in a second. So we put those in, and then we have one more right here. Thankfully, I think we should have at least a little bit over here waiting for us. So we should have, I think, 4 buckets over here. And then I have a couple rock crystals ready to make some more in case we need it. Throw those down. And I don't know, is that going to be enough for us? I can't remember what we started out with. There we go. And yep, it should be just enough. So now we have these completely filled, which means we are good to use the Starlight Infuser. So if we took the resonating wand and right clicked on this. Okay guys, so slightly embarrassing moment. I apparently didn't realize that there was still 1 bucket of liquid starlight missing. I thought I had all of it, but admittedly, when you're looking at this, it's not as easy to see that one of them is missing compared to water, since its texture is just kind of weird. But regardless, it should be all good to go now. So all you do is right click with something like an aquamarine, And then we grab out our resonating wand and right click with this, and we get this super cool particle effect as if it's pulling stuff from the liquid starlight and infusing it into the aquamarine. And after a couple more seconds, it'll finish and drop us a resonating gem. Now this looks super cool, and we will use this for a ton of other crafting recipes. We can see it's used for the iridescent altar, and here it's used for a couple different things. And you can even use it to make liquid starlight, and there's a bunch of different stuff that we'll be using it for in the future. So we'll want a couple of these. There's other things you can infuse using the Starlight Infuser, but what I want to do is see if we can use this a couple times till it consumes one of these buckets of liquid starlight, because you do have a chance, albeit a small one, of consuming them, since these are considered to be an unstable source of starlight. And what'll happen is eventually you won't be able to run this anymore until you replace it. So the last time I got this consumed when I was testing it, it took about 3. So we'll see if it happens on this one. If not, we'll consider ourselves lucky and we'll just call it for the day. Yep, doesn't look like any got consumed, so I guess we're really lucky. The chances aren't crazy high, but hopefully you guys found today's episode pretty informative. We're slowly getting through Astral Sorcery to the even cooler endgame stuff, which is awesome. And I guess off camera, I will work on incorporating this at least into the base so things continue to look pretty nice, and hopefully kind of work on this a little bit too, since I think there are a few changes that need to be made now that we have a bigger altar in the center of the base. But that's going to be it for today, guys, and I will talk to you later.